Hi all, this is Emma from Plan Inspire Create, and today I'm going to be showing you around my new craft space / planner space. So I recently built myself a whole new craft and planning space. To begin with, I didn't really have a designated area. Then I managed to kind of claim one end of the living room. And then my husband has actually had a home office for the 2 years that we've lived here now. So I thought, if I'm going to do it properly. So I've managed to put together this craft and planning space from scratch. There wasn't really anything down this end of the room before, just some odd bits of furniture that didn't really go. So while I'm explaining how the video is going to go, I'll just show you some shots of how it looks now. So I did actually film the process of building it, sorting out all my craft supplies, putting it all together. So I've sped that up and done a little time lapse for you. If you want to see it coming together, then that is coming up next. If you want to skip straight ahead to the tour, then I'll pop a time code in the description below for you to skip ahead. And I'll go through what I chose to put together the space, how I've organised some of my supplies so you might pick up some organisation and storage tips, and just how it all looks and has come together at the end. So without further ado, let's just get on with it. Here's how I built the room. So the first thing I did was start building the furniture for this end of the room, starting with a chest of drawers that I got from IKEA. So I started off with the two side pieces and actually building the frame. You can see now it's starting to look more like the outline frame of a chest of drawers. Then I put it into position and we started building the drawers and slotted these onto the runners one at a time. And then once those final drawers were done, that was the chest of drawers finished. Next, I built a big 5x5 Kallax unit, also from IKEA. I've built smaller ones of these before and they're quite easy to put together, but never one as big as this. So some of it was a two-man job. It was really heavy to pick up off the floor. So you basically just work from one side to the other, adding in the shelves as you go across. As it was almost a full unit, we got it upright and sort of into position, but we then brought it back once it was done and put it in the exact location it was going to be. And this is going to act as a room divider between the two ends of the room because it's quite a long, narrow room, so it just helps section it off. Then I got my desk pieces into place and screwed on the brackets for the legs. These were some adjustable legs I got from IKEA, and the idea was to have this as a standing height desk. Then I unscrewed the legs so that they were all the same length and attached them to the brackets, and then got the desk pieces into position. And then I also had some brackets to attach the ends of the desks to the actual Kallax unit, so that just made it really nice and secure and all one piece of furniture. So I got those in place. I also screwed on this Alex desk extender from IKEA, which just gives you a little riser area to put your laptop on. So we got the last pieces into place and screwed in those brackets so that everything was attached to the Kallax and the desks were attached to each other, and just checked that the legs were all level. And then I was on to actually sorting things out. So I started by just unboxing everything and putting things in piles. I put some books and ornaments and things on the other side of the Kallax closest to the living room. And then I was actually just putting like things together and then figuring out where they could actually go. So I took this opportunity to kind of sort things into categories so that they'd be easier for me to find as time went on. I was so tired by this point and just wanted it finished, but thought it's better to do it properly now than have everything disorganised when I've gone to the trouble to get everything looking really lovely. So you can see my outfit keeps changing because this spanned over lots of different days. And I just kept bringing more things over bit by bit, adding to the categories that I had, and either putting things on the Kallax unit, in the drawers, or on the big built-in shelves that you'll see later in the video, which are just off screen to the right. There was something quite satisfying about the piles getting smaller and smaller and me being able to start to see the desk space, considering how big this desk is, and that kind of spurred me on to keep going to the end and actually push through and get it finished. As you can see, there's just more and more boxes that I keep bringing over, but this was the last one. Another day, another outfit. I'm kind of doing the final bits into position at this point. I always find this the hardest bit, just trying to figure out where those final bits and pieces will go. It also gave me the opportunity to have a bit of a clear out. I've got a box full of things that I'm going to see if other people want, and also I did some recycling, got rid of some rubbish, so I wasn't just putting things that don't really deserve a space in here back into this new space. And then after all that sorting, the last thing for me to do was to lay down my rug and put down my chair, my side table and my footstool. And now I'm ready to show you how it all turned out. This is where you actually come into the room. It's actually part of our living room, dining room. If I show you, there's the piano and there's mess up this end. There is the living room. So we've sectioned it off with one of these Kallax dividers, and it works as a really great room divider. So I'll show you how it looks from the other end of the room. So you can see it lets lots of light through, and there's a mixture of my craft supplies and little ornaments on there. Some things I put facing this way that are more decorative, and the things at the bottom. And then the things on the top are more of my craft supplies, so I put them primarily facing the other way. So if we go into the room, first thing is this big wall of shelves, if I can show you here, that spans around the radiator. This is something I actually built using IKEA Billy bookcases and then just plain wood, which I cut to size and painted. And I got my father-in-law to hook up these lights at the top. This was the only part of the process that I didn't film. It took quite a while to do, but I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I've got a selection of my craft stuff on here and my planning stuff. So down on this corner I've got more of my sewing supplies and fabrics and kind of sewing guides and stuff. Then I've got planner stuff and old planner inserts at the top. These are all old planner inserts. Then up here I've got my ribbons. This is all my cross stitching stuff in here, patterns and threads. Then these are the main planners that I'm using at the moment. Then these boxes at the top, they're also from IKEA, and I use those for kind of ongoing projects. I need to label those up at the moment, but it just means I can put them away quickly and neatly. And then I've just got some decoration on the other shelves in the middle. And the reason that I did this myself, as well as just having a project to do, was to get these kind of built-in looking shelves that span around a radiator. Can cost a lot of money, and so we were able to do this for a few £100, whereas it would have cost us, I don't even want to guess how much to have a company come in and do it. So it's not perfect, but I made it and I'm happy with it. So then down on the left hand side I've got some of my jewellery making stuff at the bottom. Then in that bottom box is some of my painting stuff and some of my painting supplies on this shelf. Then I've got my sticker box, which you've probably seen in another video, but I'll link it for you. Then I've got some of my planners that aren't being used at the moment. In the top there, that's my label making stuff. I have planner clips stored in these little drawers, and then just a little diamond painting that my mum made me. So those are my built-in shelves. You get lots of light from the street, and I can really keep an eye on who's passing by and just be nosy. So then we have my desk. So if I show you from this corner, it's a standing height desk that goes around the corner. The desktops and the legs were from IKEA, and it's actually, and I got these brackets that actually fit it onto the Kallax room divider, if I show you here. So they fix onto the desk and then they just screw underneath to attach it to the shelf, and that keeps it nice and sturdy. I decided to go for a standing height desk and then get these bar stools. I got this set of 2 grey bar stools from Amazon. Again, I will link everything that I used in this makeover down below so you can know where I got things from. So I primarily use it as a standing desk, but then if I get tired or I want to sit down, then I can kind of alternate and I just use the bar stools. And I've got a couple if anyone's down here with me. And it also just means I've got one for each side. So this part of the desk here, this side is where I mainly do my writing, my editing, any kind of work on the laptop. This is where I do it, and I put my laptop up on this Alex kind of desk extension that's also from IKEA, and I've just got this little keyboard that pulls out from underneath. Then this big box over here houses all my chargers and my cables and things, and it just means it's somewhere to keep them all, and I can use them in there because there's an extension cable in there so they can be plugged in, and then I just pop the cables out through one of these little holes on the side and plug it into my laptop. So that saves cable mounting building up. And then in these little drawers, I've just got some of my most used things, so my wireless mouse, USBs and memory cards and things, and my wireless headphones. And then on the other side, I've got some stickers, some page flags, post-its, my power bank, which is this cute little sloth, and this corner rounder. And I've got this lovely pink lamp that I picked up at TK Maxx. And above my desk, I built this gallery wall. So I'm going to be releasing a blog post next Friday showing how I put this together. So when that's live, I'll link it down below. These were all images I found myself, mainly on royalty-free image websites. The heart hanging in the top right is something I made, and I will post a video on how I did that down below. And I really like how it just frames the space. It really ties in the colours of the room, the black, the grey, and the kind of pops of pink. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Then if we go around to these top two layers of shelves, so these are the ones you can see from above the desk. So like I said, I mainly keep my planning stuff up here, craft things that I want to grab regularly. So over here in this first little window, I've got my paper packs of 12 by 12 card and paper stock. And then in these other two boxes, what have we got? This one still needs a label. So in the top one, I've got all my embellishments and things. Little flowers, any larger sticker packs, kind of bigger pearl embellishments, those kinds of things, bows, buttons, anything you can think like that. That lives in there. And then in the bottom one is cardstock, which is 8 by 8 or smaller. So if I've used a 12 by 12 sheet and cut it down, then that lives in there. And then on my next little window, carrying on from that, I've got these clear folders from Amazon. I got these off and I've labelled them with my label maker so you can see what is in each. So one of them's labelled journaling, and this is where I put kind of scraps of papers or bits that I've cut out that I might want to use for a journaling spread. For example, I know I've got something in here that will illustrate the point. Yeah, see, I've got this big flower that I cut off the front of a magazine that I thought would go nice in a journaling spread. I've got all these doilies, so it's a mixture of kind of different textured papers, tissue papers, anything that might be used up in a journaling spread. They live in there. Then this one is scraps of lamination pockets that I might be able to use for smaller things. Then I've got 2 for papers. So this one is paper pads where it's A4 sheets or smaller, then they go in there. And then in this bottom one, I've got single sheets of paper, so where it's not packs. And some of these I've printed, torn out of magazines. They've been left over from other things. So my papers mainly live in here, and my card lives over on the window on the right. And I just labelled them with my label maker so I can quickly see what's in each one. And then this little folder here, if I show you what I use this for, this is how I store all my scraps. So this is like a display book that I had left over. I think I used it for a portfolio when I was applying for my old job. So if I open this up, it's got card in the front and paper in the back, and it's basically full of these little pockets that I slip things into. So the first pocket, these are kind of ends that I've trimmed off of 12 by 12 paper sheets, and they're kind of like little washi strips. So I've saved them. And then I've got it split by colour. So if I'm doing something, say on my Cricut machine or a little craft project, paper craft project, and I'm doing something that could fit on a small piece of card, then I look here first rather than cutting into another 12 by 12 sheet. So I've got them split by colour. So I've got white, black and craft. They're my kind of pinky colours. Florals I put together, and these are kind of naturey leaf patterns. Then I've got my blues, orange and yellows, miscellaneous patterns we'll call this. I basically got like colours or like patterns together. And then these were where I had cut the letters out on these, saying same on my Cricut machine. I just put the leftovers in here because I thought I could either use it as a stencil or use the actual strip with the bits with the letters missing in a journaling spread. And these little bits, you can see are bits of the A. And then if we flick right to the back, then I've done the exact same thing but for paper, so it's just split by thickness so I can find what I need. So I've got black paper at the back, and then these little sheets of blues, greens, purples, you get the idea, yellows, patterns. So I haven't got as many papers as cards. There we go. So they all stay in there. It saves me having a big box that gets all jumbled. And it just means that I can quickly flick through and see what scraps I've got. So that system's working really well for me at the moment. And then I've just got this little pen pot here. This was a plant pot from IKEA. And then I've got my fine liners, some erasable pens, paint pens, gel pens, brush pens, kind of mix of the extra pens that I don't use all the time. Then this little box up here, this is where I keep my die cuts. Whoops. And it's a clear box. It's originally designed to be a photo storage box. It's got 6 of these little containers that pop out. They're actually designed to fit 4x6 sized photographs, and basically you just pull this little bit down here, the lid pops up and I can flick through. So again, these are waiting to be labelled so I can be clear what's what, but I've got this one that's kind of general vintage. This one is travel and tickets. So some nice things in there. I was struggling before this to know how to store my die cuts, and this is working a lot better and means that I know what it is that I've actually got. So this one is just general. So I've got some little text embellishments. I've also got some tags, some different shapes in there, and there's little stick-on acrylic dots. This one is all animals. So I've got birds, butterflies, llamas, elephants, got all sorts in there. This one is my florals and leaves, and then the last one is just a miscellaneous. So there's a camera in there, art supplies, this little one from Fox and Pip. I've got one of those in my planner, but that's just a spare one. So I'm going to use my Cricut to make little text labels for these like I did for my clear dividers, and I'm going to put little labels on here. I'll also link that video down below. That's something I'm going to be doing more of, just to make sure everything's labelled and it's easier to see where everything is. But that just lives up there on that top little window. Then I've just got pictures and plants and things. This one, we're getting more into planner supply zone now. So I've got my washi ring that used to be on my planner cart, and I can just flick round. These are my main washes that I use. Probably controversial opinion, because I know some people have got thousands and thousands of washes, but I like to try and stick to this ring. So I haven't yet bought enough washes to go beyond the size of this ring. and it encourages me to use up what I've got before I go buying new things. So there were quite a few rolls I got through earlier this year that were in this sort of range. Those were the first ones I got, and then you will have seen I got these two and this one in my recent haul video. So I kind of made space and then added to it. And then this little box back here. This is a little box, I can't even remember what was in it, that I just repurposed, and it's got my glitter washies in it. And it just says be your best on the inside, and I thought they fitted in there perfectly. The glitter washies I don't use as often. And then these two containers, these were from, I think, B&M or Home Bargains. One of those are about £1 each. So this one, I've got my bigger journaling cards in. So these are just some index cards, little journaling cards, so I can pull one out and use it to write something out or pop in my planner, whatever I want to do with it. So they're just now, before they were in a box I wasn't using them, now they're right on hand, so I'm hoping I'll be using more of those. Then I've just got some bigger post-it pads, some little fox page flags, and then these are some washi strips that I got in a recent haul video. They're upside down. I got these in my haul video as like a lucky dip thing, so I've just popped those in there. And then if we look at the second one, so this is where I'm probably cheating on the washi a little bit, because I got this little vintage set of washies for my birthday, and I really like how they look all together and in the little box. So I've kept those in there, and I just popped them in this little box with, I'll show you what else is in here. So at the back I've got extra sticky notes, so these are ones I'm not sure what I'm doing with yet because the sticky's not great on them. Then I've got my watercolour ones, my cloud ones, and then I've got my Originate UK ones, the priority ones back there, and the notes. So they were all in my most recent haul. Then I've got loads and loads of little journaling cards. Again, now they're here, I'm finding that I'm using them more. So they're all my little journaling cards. Then I've got big tags that I use for decoration or for actual tags, or for a journaling spread. Then some smaller tags, some smaller journaling cards in there. And then these are little adhesive pockets that you can kind of put in your planner and put things in. So I think they were from a Smashbook range. I've had those such a long time, so I put them in here to encourage me to actually use them. If I don't end up using them, then I should just de-stash. These are the cards that came in my original planner. I've got a clear business card here from Originate UK, and then these are my planner cards. So if you haven't seen last week's video, check them out. There's two designs. Take these out ready. So I've got these monthly ones. There's a set of a year's worth with the different months on the top, and they're not dated with the year, so you can use them year after year. You can use these for lots of different reasons, but I put my top 3 priorities or goals for the month in there. And then on this back one we've got habit trackers. I'm not sure why I've given up on rounding the last corner on that one, but these habit trackers I've also been using, so they're part of my planner card range. It's available in my Etsy shop, so I'll leave a link down below, and you just print them at home and you can print them out as many times as you like. So they're my spare ones in there. Little tags, and then I've just got some extra page flags. These are little fox ones that I got off my friend Little Inky Heart. So they live in there with my washies. So they're just very easy for me to grab when I'm doing planner spreads or when I'm working on things during the week. Then I've got this just clear mat on my desk, which helps protect the desk when I'm crafting on it. Then I've just got some of my clippies up here in this little tub, and this book that I'm reading at the moment. I keep referring to it as I'm planning. And then I've got my main planners down here right within reach. So this is my little gratitude plans in there. This is my main A6 planner in this lovely planner pouch that I got as a present from a friend recently. And then this is my Dalphonics pouch that I keep the main planner supplies that I use all the time. So it's got my scissors, my glue, my whiteout, tape runners, mild liners, different pens. I think there's more fine liners and things in the back. So if I was going to be doing any planning on the go, I would also grab this and take it with me. And I've just got my Alexa at the end, who I boss about and didn't even hear her own name then, so she's obviously not that good. And more cables and things for my little lamp. And then there's a couple of things I haven't shown you. So the first thing is I have this cart on the end here with my Cricut on it, and I just tuck it under the desk. So if I roll it out, this was last week's blog post, how I made over this cart to house my Cricut supplies. So I haven't sorted out the bottom two trays yet. I need to put my Cricut pens in there, the cable for it, and then I'm going to get some small pieces of vinyl to work with and try. And the rest of the things that I mainly use is cardstock, which obviously I've got up there above. So the idea with this is I can keep it on here, it's got my tools in the top, and when I'm ready I can just plug it in and go. And I can actually use it on this trolley. What I'll do is just wheel it right out, and then the mats will have enough room to feed through the front and back and not hit anything. Whereas when it was on my desk, I would have it up against the wall and forget, and then the mat would come out the back and hit the wall and it would all go wrong. And also it takes up quite a lot of space, even though this is quite a big desk, like it would take up the majority of that top piece there where I put my laptop, so it was taking up too much space. So now I've just got this little rolling cart which is functional, and I can just close it, whoops, move my weeding tool, close it, and then it just lives under there nice and tidy. And I made over the cart so it would match the rest of this space, so I'll leave that blog post down below. Then I've got my little printing area and these drawers with other supplies in. So my printer used to be upstairs, and I am so happy now it's downstairs. It only seems like such a little thing, but when I would be doing stuff down here and then having to constantly go up and downstairs to the printer, I'd be exhausted by the time I'd finished doing anything. So I've now got my printer right here where I can just grab things on and off. And then these acrylic drawers I got off Amazon. They're 2 sets stacked on top of each other. And again, I'm going to make little stickers to go on here, but I use these for the most common things that I print with. So I've got A4 paper in the bottom, then A5 and A6 paper. And I use that for doing my planner printables. Then in the next one I've got A4 card. Then I've got A5 and A6 card. I haven't got any A5 in the back in a minute. I need to cut some down. And then next one is sticker paper. And then the top one is my vellum. So they're the most common things that I print on for my planner and other craft supplies that's not like coloured cardstock or whatever. So I keep those in there. And then these drawers are also from IKEA, and they just house some of my more bulky craft supplies and also my filming equipment. So that drawer's empty. I actually got quite a lot of space in here by the end. I thought I would use it all, but I haven't. And I've just got some filming equipment, cables, headphones, things in there, little bits that I don't want to get lost. Then in the second drawer, I've got stationery items that I don't use very often. These are like punches, staplers, sellotape, those kinds of things. This box has mainly got A5 planner supplies in it, A5 ring bound, but it's also got some extra disc bound discs in there. I've got my disc bound punch at the back, and this is also where I come when I'm sending packages. So I've got my tape runner, and I've also got my sellotape. Then in the next one is papers and things. So this one's a bit of a mess already. So I've just got my big A3 paper, my paper cutter. This is my pack of printable acetate that I've got. And then under here I've got sticker scraps, extra A4 paper, laminating pouches, and my laminator at the back. So it's the rest of my kind of paper and lamination supplies. This drawer's got some leftover craft supplies in it, and I'm sure this will fill up. So this little container here is from IKEA, and it's got kind of all glue bits in. This is my hot glue gun, different glues, sticky squares, sticky dots. And then I've got some candle making stuff, twine, Christmas punches, pegs, all kinds of like random craft supplies that are left over from other projects or for future projects. And then in the bottom here, I've just got my filming tripod and my light and things like that. So that can go in there instead of being constantly all over the floor. And then my favourite area actually, if we come back over here, is my little seating area. You'll see the sun comes through this window, and it's the morning now as I'm filming, but particularly in the afternoon, the sun shines through this window and kind of hits this chair, and it's a nice little sunspot to sit in. And down here on the right hand side, you usually find my dog Maggie sitting in a little sunspot while I do some work. So I can sit here, I can put my feet up. Sometimes I just fancy working in a bit more of a relaxed space, so I will move from the desk and just have half an hour to an hour sitting over here and doing something a bit more relaxed, maybe replying to comments, or I might sit here and do some cross-stitching or play on my Switch in the evening. And this little footstool, this is from Next. This just means like, sometimes I use it as an extra table or like surface for doing things on. Sometimes my dog tries to get on it. Sometimes I use it as a footstool, so I can kind of use it as like an extra seat, just a bit of everything. And then this little table's also from Next. And then my chair was from HomeSense. And this rug is from IKEA, and I think it just makes it feel a lot more cozy over here. So it's not just an office vibe, it's kind of like craft room, planner space, hangout space. It's basically my adult playroom over here. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And if we just look at the other side of the Kallax, you'll see I've just got plants and things, books, decorative items. I've put some things on the back that are more decorative. So I've got my craft stuff closest to the desk, and I've got more decorative stuff closest to the living room. So kind of family pictures, books and things. My sewing machine's at the bottom. This picture needs to go back on the wall. And this typewriter, I'm super happy with. I found this for £15 in a charity shop. I haven't done anything with it yet, so you can still see it's got like the sticky label marks and stuff on, but I'm gonna restore it how it was. I have no idea how to do that yet, but I'm gonna have fun learning, and I'll probably make a video out of it. Then in the end, I am actually gonna use it, not just leave it here for decoration. I'm gonna use it for writing out poems that I write, also writing out things that I want to go in my journals, and I think that'll be a really fun thing to do. So I really hope you enjoyed this tour, picked up some tips, enjoyed how it looked at the end. I'm absolutely loving using this space. I've been using it for a week or two now, and I'm absolutely loving it. If you did like it, please like the video and consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already. And I'll see you over on my blog on Friday for a new post there, and then back here next Wednesday for another video. Bye.